One of the most important tasks that we have as leaders is to have difficult conversations. We avoid them constantly. But the main thing is, don't make it personal. They are not a bad person. It's just not working in that particular point in time in your organization. Unfortunately, I have been in a position where I've had to terminate scores of people throughout my career, and it's never fun for me or the recipient of that information. Well, hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching this, hello, wherever you're at. So today I've got a presentation that I'm making before about 40 people, and one of the most important tasks that we have as leaders is to have difficult conversations. We avoid them constantly. And when we do that, when we don't have that authentic transparency every single interaction, every single day with every single person, when we avoid that, we're really doing that person a disservice, because what happens is the frustration builds in us. There's a situation comes up, we don't talk about it when it's a small issue. So we let it ride, and then it becomes a bigger issue. We don't address it because we just don't want to upset the person. We like the person. Maybe we made the mistake of hiring a friend. We don't want to upset them, and we let it ride again. Difficult conversations should happen in very short bursts, okay? And start when the problem's small, so it doesn't become this big blown up deal and everybody's wondering what happened, including the person that you're having to deal with in the workplace. So number one, I've got 5 tips for you. We're going to go through them very, very quickly. Number one, prepare. If you are in a managerial or leadership position and you have to have a tough conversation, prepare. Just like the presentation for this group today, we're speaking to about 40 people. We put a lot of preparation into this event. There's PowerPoint slides, there's a lot going on, there's other people coming in, we've had to do audio checks, we're printing materials, all of that. So prepare in advance. Maybe your conversation is not going to be this elaborate, but you can go ahead and jot yourself a few notes to prepare for that difficult conversation. You should not be using the real conversation as a dress rehearsal for when you actually are talking. You do not want the first time you've addressed the issue with a person for that to be the only run through that you do. You want to jot down your notes ahead of time, prepare. Number two, so prepare, number one. Number two, remember, this is not personal. The person that you're dealing with is probably not a serial killer. They're probably not a mass murderer. They're just not fitting in with the current situation. So what can you do to help them? But the main thing is, don't make it personal. They are not a bad person. It's just not working in that particular point in time in your organization. Number three, think about yourself and how you would want to be receiving that information if you were sitting on their side of your desk. Think it through. How are they going to be feeling coming in there? They're going to be apprehensive. They probably know just by the nonverbals and maybe some of the history leading up to the event that there's an issue. So they're going to have a lot of anxiety about that. Have a spirit of compassion and empathy. Put yourself in their shoes. Think about how you can best cushion it while not hedging on it, but cushion the conversation so they understand the impact, but it is not taken or presented in a personal way that demeans them as an individual. Number four, limit the information, especially if you're doing a termination. Just limit the information. You don't want to go into a lengthy conversation with someone where you end up getting pulled in by that individual into an argument and a discussion back and forth and about how, well, I saw Susie over in the business office doing this and nobody addressed it with her, or I saw Jim in accounting and you see what he did in the break room. You don't want to get into all that. So you want to keep the conversation where you're limiting the information. Just limit the amount of information that you disclose. So if it's a situation where you're having to maybe terminate somebody, number one, it should never be a surprise to that person that it's coming. Now, they may act like it's a surprise, but if you've been addressing the steps and addressing the issues since they were very small and documenting it and making sure they have an opportunity to sign it or do not sign but have a witness there that says they refuse to sign, it should not be a surprise to them. So don't make that mistake. And then lastly, be pithy. Okay, the shorter, the better. Unfortunately, I have been in a position where I've had to terminate scores of people throughout my career, and it's never fun for me or the recipient of that information. But limit the information and keep it short. You want to have a 5-minute maximum conversation. And it's okay to start off by saying, "Hey, Anna, come on in. You're probably not going to like this conversation. I have some news to deliver that's not really going to be that, you're not probably going to be not the receptive to, but it's important for us moving forward to be able to have this conversation." So keep it short. Do not go into lengthy conversations. Do not get drawn into the questioning, which is natural for them, right? They've got a lot of questions about it, but you want to keep it short. You don't want to be throwing out all this information so that, then they get to an unemployment hearing or they take legal action and then you get dragged back into it saying, "Well, you said when you terminated me that I did this and this and this." You don't want to get into that. If they try to bring others into the conversation and other people's behavior, you want to cut it off. So, number one, prepare in advance. Don't let the live performance, so to speak, be the only time you've rehearsed it. Number two, remember, it's not personal. Don't approach it with an attitude. You're not on a higher level just because you're a leader or manager. Number three, address it with a spirit of compassion and empathy. Number four is to limit the information. And number five is to keep it short. I hope that helps. I'm Dan Stockdale, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.